Hey folks, it's Frithgar here, how you doing? Welcome back to Farming Simulator 19 here in Boulder Canyon. I am just going to bring the last of the bales back into the yard. The hired help is going again over there with that tractor and the cultivator. As soon as I've unloaded these bales, I will get started on the planting. And you know what? I'm actually thinking I'm not going to do that. I'm going to leave these on the trailer. I'm going to unhitch them, and I am going to get straight on with the planting. We really need to get that planting underway because it's quite a time-consuming process. So I'm going to abandon the bales. We've cleared the bales off the field up the top. So if I get straight into this, it's important that we keep this moving. I probably could have just left the trailer with the bales in the field over there and got straight on with the planting already. But, yeah, there's no point in sort of thinking about what we should have done or could have done. The shoulda, woulda, couldas, it's a waste of time. Right, we need to focus on the future. Well, we need to look to the future. We can learn from our mistakes. Possibly it was a mistake to leave this for quite as long as we did, but I don't think it was. I'm not going to go so far as to say that I think that was actually a mistake to spend as long with this tractor clearing the field with the bales. We allowed the cultivator to get ahead, and as soon as the cultivator is finished, we will be able to get back to moving the bales, and then we can go and fertilize the grass field using that tractor over there. So what I am going to do before we go and get started is I'm just going to top up the tank on the front with fertilizer, and then I'm going to make sure that we've topped up the back with seed. So we're just going to bring this one over here and open it up. I'll lower it down as well so that we can... Ooh, I forgot about the bit on the front. Right, let's do that. Top that one up with fertilizer like that, and it can be closed down like this. For once, I'm not recording time-lapse. I've actually done my time-lapse, so I can switch this back over to miles per hour on here. For those of you who are new to the series, when I'm recording, the time-lapse is like the big thing. I make sure that I focus on that one, so for little bits like changing over from kilometers to miles an hour, the time-lapse map requires me to be in kilometers per hour. So I have it in kilometers per hour while I'm on that, so that I don't accidentally forget to change it over part way through. I would rather have continuity errors in this series than I would in the time-lapse series. It's just the way it is. It's not saying that this is that people who watch this rather than time-lapse less important or anything like that. It's just I get more views on the other one, so I need to kind of like prioritize every little detail on that one rather than this one. Why aren't you filling? There we go. Alright, you've got to get right in tight for that one. And I'll bring you over here. I'm not going to bother doing the outside bit there, but I will start here. We're going to do 2 passes around on this side, so that I've got a little bit of gap next to the stone over there. So I'll bring you over here, and that tank on the front is currently lowered down, so you might want to lift that one back up into the air a bit. I'm thinking that we could really do with a bit less weight on these wheels, though, couldn't we? We could really do with a lot less weight on here. So let's lower you down there and unhitch you. And then I will bring you over here. And I'm going to unhitch you as well. Like that. And we're going to go and get the double wheels back on. We definitely want to be spreading out the weight as much as possible. And I think for this particular job, the double wheels are called for. They do seem to be a good move on here. We can do some repair work while we're at it. And then we want to customize. And we're looking for twin wheels. There we go. That's much better. Customize. Yes. Nice. Right. That's better. We've now got our twin wheels back on. I love this thing with the twin wheels. It does look really cool. It just I think twin wheels just look fantastic. I do. I really love twin wheels. I don't know if this has got anything to do with the fact that I've never actually been able to drive a tractor with twin wheels. I've said before, I've seen them with cages a little bit. I think I've maybe seen a tractor with actual twin wheels on in real life maybe once or twice. That would be about it. But there's just something I find quite impressive and cool looking about the twin wheels. Now, wide tyres these days, people use wide tyres, and we used to use a special type of wide tyre that you ran half flat as well. You had a lot less tyre pressure in it. It was specially designed to run half flat, and the overall pressure on the ground, because you were running it partly deflated, was very, very close to what twin wheels were, and that was why we ran. I mean, those tyres cost a fortune. They did. They were really expensive tyres, and they were something like 4 times the cost of normal tyres on each of the tractors. And the estate that I worked on, they ran them on every single tractor because of lower compaction issues, and because they were about as close as you could get to twin wheels without actually having to have twin wheels. And because we had a lot of road work, it was not worth us actually having twin wheels on the tractors, because you're constantly taking them on and off to go in and out of the different fields. So it was altogether much better, and the amount of time that was saved over the course of a year taking tires on and off, the manager reckoned that they were saving quite a bit of money, even though they were spending out on these really, really expensive types of tires. Now, whether they're still a thing, whether other people use them, I've not heard of them before, and I've not actually encountered any other place that uses them, so they weren't that common. I'm pretty sure there were other places near us that used the same ones, but the people that came and fitted the tyres one time, they came in and they changed the tyres on 3 of the tractors. He did them all at once, because there were a few of them that were starting to wear, and he just said, you know, we'll just do the whole lot all at once, and then we haven't got to worry about tyres failing on us when we really need them during planting or anything like that. And so we paid out and had everything done at once. The person who fit the tyres, when we brought them in, said your tyre pressure is too low, this is why you're having problems with your tyres. And when it was explained what sort of tyres that he was fitting, because they had to be specially ordered in, it wasn't something that was normally stocked, the person who was fitting the tyres said, well, that's rubbish, you can't run tyres like that. And he actually didn't believe that such a thing existed. He just didn't believe. He said, no, you got that wrong, you cannot run tyres like this, it will damage them. Until he was shown the specific specs for the tyre. He hadn't really looked at them all that much. He just knew that there was these big expensive tyres that he had to fit. He didn't really know why. I think maybe he thought that they were extra durable or something like that. But when he looked at the specs, he was like, oh, right, yeah. And he was genuinely surprised. He'd not seen them before. So they were that uncommon. I mean, I am talking 20 years ago now. They're that uncommon that even the person who was fitting the tyres and did so for a living hadn't really heard of them. So I'm curious if they are used very much now. Does anybody that is in farming? I know that there are a few of you, and I'd ask you questions nearly every week, and you respond beautifully. I get all sorts of comments about farming practices and different things that are done now that used to be done differently, and so on. It's brilliant. I love reading through the comments. Have you heard of tyres like that you run partially flat in order to further distribute the weight and the compaction issues? Is that still as rare a thing as it was when the farm that I was working on was using them, or is it something that is now a lot more common? Do you see a lot more of them? I would really like to know a bit more about them, so if you know any details about them, then please get into the comment section and fill me in. Cure my ignorance. There is something absolutely wonderful about ignorance being cured. And this is, I'd always prefer to be classed as ignorant rather than stupid. Stupidity you're born with, ignorance can be cured. Well, you're born with ignorance as well, but you get the impression. Stupidity you're stuck with, ignorance can be cured. Ignorance, people use ignorant as some sort of insult. It's not. Ignorant just means that you have a lack of knowledge on a particular subject. Right, my medical knowledge, I'm pretty ignorant when it comes to medication and medical knowledge. There's plenty of doctors out there that know an awful lot more than I do. Could that be rectified? Yes, it could. If I went and studied medicine, then I could cure that ignorance. So there's a cure for it. it's not insulting to say that my I'm ignorant as a doctor. I'm an ignorant. I would be an ignorant doctor. I wouldn't know anything about it. Of course, I'm an ignorant doctor. I don't know anything about doctoring at all. I know nothing on the subject. Why are you coming out here? See, I'm ignorant on this particular one. Don't tell me you're blocked. You know, I think we might just give this one a twirl around the edge of the field, just to maybe help it out a bit. I don't know. It seems that the driver is ignorant on how to actually drive properly. This might be down to stupidity rather than ignorance, though. So, yeah, ignorance is not an insult. It's just a state that can be cured. And I find it quite amusing that people throw the term ignorant around like they've just figured out a brand new insult, and they're the first ones to ever use it. And you're like, dude, it's something that is easily cured, and it's really not an insult to say that. Like, it's not insulting. It's intended as an insult. I mean, the whole insult being offended thing is a whole, other kettle of fish that I'm not going to get into just for a second. But you know what? I'm gonna take off the hired help here a minute, and we're gonna whiz over here and do those. Because yeah, I do sometimes leave little patches, but those patches there are a bit too big for me to want to leave. So I'm just gonna go and get them a second. We'll take that little bit right there, and then we'll go and get this little bit over here. So ignorance can definitely be cured, and that is something that I like. If I'm ignorant about a particular subject, it can be cured, and this whole tire thing, yeah, please cure my ignorance. That would be absolutely fantastic. And I mean, possibly there are other expressions like a little bit of knowledge is dangerous. That's because people will come along and they think, oh, I know about this subject now, and they don't know. They know enough to give them a little bit of competency, but they don't know enough to give them a lot of competency, and that's where mistakes happen. You think you know more than you actually do. You start to think you've got a grasp on a subject, and then it turns out that you really, really don't. You know the basics of it. And that's the other thing. Ignorance can be cured, but you've got to be careful when you're experiencing that cure that you don't think yourself cured before you actually are. And the safest approach that I have found with that is to always assume that you don't know the subject very well. Always assume every single part of it. Question yourself, question what you're saying, question what you're doing. Not to the point of indecision. That's sort of, it does lock you up a little bit. But don't assume that just because you've got some knowledge on a subject that you know all about it. There's always more things that you can learn. So that's kind of like the other side of the coin with the whole ignorance thing and stupidity. Some knowledge is good, right? You're curing your ignorance with that, but if you couple a bit of knowledge with some stupidity, then that's where it starts to get dangerous, because that bit of knowledge can give someone who's slightly more stupid than others, let's say, the false impression that they are now an expert on said subject, and that's where things start to go wrong. That is where things can really start to go wrong. Hopefully it's just going to be in a subject that's not really going to affect mankind in any serious way. But there are plenty of people out there who have far too little knowledge on the subject, but think that they are experts. I mean, we've all seen the keyboard warriors tapping away on the internet. There are keyboard warriors for every subject under the sun. And it's very easy to get drawn into a dispute with a keyboard warrior. But just remember, when getting into a dispute with somebody on the internet, there's two different things that spring to mind whenever this happens. One is never argue with an idiot, right? Never argue with someone who's stupid. And this sounds like really arrogant, I know. I'm listening to myself and thinking, Frith, you sound really arrogant today. You need to, like, dial this back a bit. Never argue. The reason is, right, you get someone who's absolutely convinced that they know everything about everything, and you get into a conversation with them on the internet, and it starts to get painful, right? It starts to get painful. And the expression is never argue with an idiot. Never argue with an idiot, because they will drag you down to their level and then they will beat you with experience. There's actually quite a grain of truth to that. There really is. There is a strong grain of truth to that particular statement. Is never argue with an idiot, because they will drag you down to their level and then beat you with experience. Always worth remembering. Possibly the best thing to do with a lot of internet arguments is simply to walk away from the keyboard, because you're never really going to win. You're never really going to win an argument at a keyboard. And then the other one is the one that I particularly like. This is one that I really do like, is getting into an argument with a stranger. It's something like getting into an argument with a stupid stranger on the internet is a bit like playing chess with a pigeon. The pigeon will defecate all over the chessboard and then strut around like it's won. That's what happens, right? It will just defecate on the chessboard and then strut around like it's won. And if anybody has gotten into a prolonged, interesting discussion with someone on the internet who perhaps has not got quite a full grasp of a subject being discussed, you'll understand what I mean. It's frustrating. So you can argue and argue and argue on the internet. People don't tend to change their minds on the internet. It seems to be sort of this way or no way at all. My way or the highway. It's always my way or the highway. There seems to be very little room for negotiation and changes of beliefs and so on, which is why debating with people when you're not face to face, I don't really like it all that much. I mean, it's all right. It does depend if you can find the right people to have your debates with. Because if you can find the right people to have a debate with, they're open to new ideas and suggestions, and perhaps, you know, the concept that their own particular train of thought might not be the right one on that subject, and that can be interesting. But I generally find that a debate face to face is better. You're more likely to be able to convey the message you're trying to convey. It's also quite difficult to convey nuance on a keyboard. Emojis help, but some people get really annoyed with emojis and just don't like them, and then that kind of shuts down the argument in the first place. And I've had this on 5 times speed, which I shouldn't have. We need to have this on 1 time speed so that we don't accidentally have part of this planting on one growth stage and part on the next growth stage, which we really want to try to avoid. Our grass field has already gone and grown a little bit, but we can throw a bit of, we can chuck a wee bit of fertilizer on there. We've got, it says it needs lime. We've got the second lot of fertilizer going on with this one, and you are busy doing your planting, and you're doing absolutely fine now. We got corn going back into the ground once again, ready for another round of corn. We've got a whole load of machines over here, so we're going to clean off the machines now, and then once I've cleaned everything, and I will take the time to put it all away in the shed as well, and we need to get those bales out of the way as well, all while that planting is going on. Then once we've done this, we can head up into the field up there, and we can do the fertilizer that we need to do up there. We'll use that tractor. We're not going to worry about putting double wheels or anything like that. We'll just hope that it doesn't bounce and tip over sideways as we go racing across the side of the field. I feel that it's going to be absolutely fine doing that. We need to put some diesel in this one. For some strange reason, our electric tractor here uses diesel. Not quite sure why, but who are we to complain? It must be something to do with the catalysts inside the electric engine, that they consume diesel in order to convert into electricity without actually making any noise whatsoever. It's very strange. It's modern. It's modern science. Don't question it. Just believe it. That's all we have to do. No question, just belief. This one here is looking a tad worn out. This is really looking worn out. I think this one could do with a coat of, a coat of paint. Yes, it could do with a little bit of a repair job, I think. This one I think we've forgotten to repair for the last few times it's been used. It's starting to get very shined up on the underside here. Indicative that it's going, getting slightly worn. The cultivator doesn't actually look very worn out. We will, hopefully, if I remember, I will put all of these machines through the workshop, and we will just make sure that they're all looking pretty good once we get them into the workshop. Go round the back here and clean off these rollers. There you go. Just like that. And polish you off as well. It's 5 o'clock in the evening. We've got $15,000 left. We are going to be getting milk money in the morning and hopefully some wool money as well if the wool price does go up a bit more. What are we on with the wool price, by the way? We are on... Wool is on 851, so by the morning that's going to have gone up quite a bit, I am hoping. Milk, hopefully, will stay climbing and will be on a good price by the morning as well, so that we get a decent sale on our milk. We stand to make a reasonable amount of cash. Now, I'm just trying to think, is there anything else that we want before we start buying more cows? Like, is there anything else that we got to buy out, pay out for? I don't think there is. I mean, the combine, possibly we could think about upgrading it, but at this particular point, I don't think we need to. I don't think upgrading the combine is actually going to be beneficial to us. I think we'd be better off just keeping the one that we've got and putting that money into, really focusing on getting that money into cattle and pigs. If we just focus on those two, the cattle and the pigs, we've already got the chickens. The sheep are pretty much on their way up there now. We got 210 out of a potential 240, I believe it is. And we're getting another one every 4.45 hours, every 4.75 hours. So in a 24-hour period, we're getting 5 sheep, which is pretty good going. 5 sheep every 24 hours. We'll be up to maximum capacity on that pen in no time. Let's jump off here and have a look. By the time that crop is ready... Ooh, no, I don't want to customize. Back. And repair. Yes. And I want to repair that one as well. Yes. Right. There's the first 2 repaired. Put this one back in the shed. We've got 54% full on our load of seed in the fertilizer, in the seed drill, in the planter. And if I back you round here like this, we then want to lower it down now that we're on the concrete pad right there. This is the difficult bit. It's trying to get that. I can bring that round a bit, but now he's... I need to straighten him up a bit, so I've got to lift him up and lower him down a couple times. There. I think that's going to be all right. And now I can put this one in the shed next to it. Let's not drive onto the spikes or anything there, or the pallet forks. Even driving onto the front of the pallet fork, if it's twisted slightly, it can do a fair bit of damage to a tractor tire. Right, we shut you off, and yeah, I don't want to be stuck in the roof there. So let's jump over this way, and let's check on him. Is he doing the corners all right? Which he seems to be doing a pretty good job here at the moment. I'm quite impressed. Getting on with it. Right, yeah, you carry on. You're doing a reasonable job right there. Next up, we will take this one. We will just drive. I'm just going to cut across here, and you know, it'd probably help if I folded up that one. I fold that one up like that, bring it to that point, and then go out round here like that. Repair our tractor for 44. Wow, that one really needed a bit of repair work there. Excellent, that's looking good there. It's shiny and it's fully repaired. It's ready to put away. That's more like it. We need to take better care of our machinery here, don't we? I've been a little bit slack in properly looking after all of the machinery on the place. Now, I'm going to stick this one in the back of the shed, and then we can put the cultivator, not the cultivator, the bale wrapper in front of it. Not going to do that yet, though. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get some of the other machinery put away first. I'm going to bring you back and put you in the back of the shed there. Like that. I could have lowered that one down without just dumping it like that. Then I'm going to go over here, and I'm going to get that fertilizer spinner. And I'm going to have that one. And I'm going to put it in front of the cultivator. Because I don't want the bale wrapper in front of the cultivator. I should really just put the bale wrapper at the back of the shed. Although the next cut of grass that we do, the chances are we're going to be using that bale wrapper. So we're still going to want to get to it. But the cultivator here, that one can go like that. We've got to plough our field. After we've done our next crop, we're going to need to be ploughing the field. So we're going to still want to get to the cultivator. But the fertilizer spreader is one that we tend to use more than most of them. I'll go and get next the rake and repair it. And then go and put it somewhere. This one we generally store outside. It's quite a big machine, it's quite bulky, and we can just put a tarp over it to protect it from the elements a bit. And then I will get that trailer hooked on, and I will go and unload the hay, and I'll put that over behind the pig shed. Let's bring you down to there like that, over this way. Right, this one is going to be in... Oh, it's not as bad as I thought. I was thinking that was going to be closer to completely worn out, but no, it was reasonable. That was reasonable. I was expecting it to be a little bit worse than that. Right, you can come in over this side. We're on 29% at the moment with corn. I'm keeping a close eye on it. We don't want that one to be parked up in the field not doing anything at any point. You here... Now, in order to be able to get to the eggs from the chickens, I do need to be able to go through that bit there beside the shed. It's quite... I mean, I can go the other way, but it's a little bit difficult. So, really, when we're loading the eggs from the chickens, we kind of want to be going the other way. So, I'm going to put this one angled like this just to allow us to get in a little bit easier. Just to make our life a little bit easier for getting in beside where the eggs are if we want to go and sell anything from the chickens. And now I can back up here and grab you. Like that. And we'll pull this one up over this side. And get this unloaded the other side of the pig pen. We've yet to buy any pigs, admittedly. And we do want to buy some. We definitely want to get some pigs. And that... I suspect the pigs are going to be the same as the cows in that we've got to use the bale shredder in order to be able to put the straw in for them. I don't know about that, though. Now, I'm going to stop you right there a minute, and I'm going to unload onto the trailer, and then I'm going to do that, and stop it, and then I'm going to do that, and I'm going to put it behind the trailer, and I'm just going to pull forward. So remember, all of these have got tarpaulins over them. That's how we're doing this. We're using, well, it's not even tarp. It's we buy in big black plastic sheets every year. We do it like that. I want to unload you there. And we sheet down the bales of hay like that, and that keeps them safe, and the straw, and that keeps them safe for the winter. I got 2 more machines to put away. I've got a little bit of time left, but not a lot. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over here, and I'm going to start loading bales again, and I'm going to take... I did actually only mean to take 3, but I'll take 4. We'll take 4 bales. I won't bother strapping these down because I'm only just moving them over to there. I want to get a little bit more straw put in for the cows. We're still working on filling the pen up completely for the cows with straw, so a little bit extra here is not going to hurt. And I bring you over this way, and then I want to go like that. Now, I've got to make sure that I get this lined up correctly so that I get all the bales inside the machine, which is about there that I want to go. There, perfect. Absolutely spot on, perfect. So I'll unhitch that one a second, and then I'll come over here. And we can hitch this one in. As long as I get that one straight, there, it won't move very much. And then I'll be able to get the other bale in there in a second as well. So, start unloading that one. And you can sort of spread it around a bit like that. Let's go and have a look in here. We're 139 cows with a reproduction rate of 1 every 9 hours, which is pretty good going, really. We got 23,000 litres of milk in here at the moment, and we're dumping in straw. And if you look at the total mixed ration in there, there really isn't very much at all in the grand scheme of things. water, we could do with running that in. So while this one is busy doing that, I'm going to start the next one running. Sometimes you don't need to, sometimes it does it automatically. I don't know why, it sometimes does the first two automatically, but then it doesn't do any more auto-magically. So we'll run over there, and we'll start the water running. That's going to make sure the cows have got plenty to drink. And then we can jump back in here. I was thinking about buying 4 more cows. I've got just enough money that I could buy another 4. And that will leave us $4,000 to finish doing the planting. I believe that would be enough. Don't think we need more than the $4,000 to finish doing all that planting. I've got 3% in left for corn in there. I just want to quickly get you there. Right, now I can start that one, and then I can jump over to you, press H like that, so that we stop doing planting, and then I can run you all the way back up round to the tank, and I can fill it up with seed, and then I can start going from the other end of the field again without too much problem. I don't need more well, no, I don't. I definitely don't need more fertilizer in the tank, so that's fine. I could probably get 5 cows, actually. Looking at the money that we got 14,000 a cow is 2,500, although we do have to pay for transport costs. It's just, I'm trying to weigh up whether or not I've got enough money to buy cows and do the fertilizer across the big grass field. Definitely got enough to do that. Ooh, I definitely didn't want to do that. Right, I've got enough here, because look, if I fill this tank up, we'll have to fill it once more. There's 579 right there. Maybe I shouldn't go buying 5 cows. I think we'll stick with 4. We'll buy 4 cows. That will leave us 3 grand, or maybe slightly less, depending on how much the delivery charges are. That will allow us to keep going with the seed drilling, which is quite important. And then, first thing in the morning, we'll get more cows anyway. We'll have money coming in, and we'll be able to buy a few more cows. So that, I think, would be acceptable. Let's bring you back there and set you going again. Fantastic. Right, off you go. And then I want to go back to that one there. And you are empty. So if I unhitch that one, I'm going to go back over to this other trailer over here. And I'm going to load that one lone bale that is left on the floor onto this trailer. And then I'm going to tip it straight. I should have gotten more than this, but I didn't. This is what we got, so this is what we're working with. And then I go like that, and that's in exactly the right spot. And I can unload it into the bale spreader right there. So then I can go and get that next one. That's the 4th bale that we put in. 8,000 litres a pop. I don't like that we have to use the bale shredder. Something that I've never really liked about this. I would prefer just to be able to run along with the bales. I mean, some cows I did used to go in and spread the straw out, but I've bedded down plenty of cows where we just went in, dropped bale in the pen, and took the strings off and left them to it. They did the rest. They liked it. They were a bit of exercise. They go along and they wrestle with each other in the bales, and you leave them and you come back a half hour later, and they've done a much better job of spreading out the bales than you ever could. Trust me on this. They like it. They love doing that. They have a lot of fun with it. So who am I to take away their games? Who am I to do that? And looking at this, I got 74,000 litres of straw in here. 75. We could easily put in another 6 bales in here, I think. And especially when the cows are full, we're going to need probably another 10, 12 bales just to fill everything up in here. And we need more of other things as well. Mowers, I've still got to put them away. That's on my to-do list. I'll do the mowers in our next episode. I'm thinking right now I'm going to go and take this trailer and I'm going to put it back where it belongs. And then I'm going to go and get the feed trailer and I'm going to bring that one up round. I also want to change the front weight off of this one and put a loader on again so that we're ready. We could clean up the animals this evening as well before we skip the night, which we got to finish the planting before we can skip the night. So that'll be another thing I do tomorrow. Front loader on, clean up all the animals. We'll put the 2 mowers away. Everything else has already been put away, and we can keep working on getting more straw and more food in for the cows. Like I said, I wanted to also buy a couple more cows. Well, 4 more cow. I reckon that we can do 4. I reckon that we got the money to get 4. We don't have the money to get 5 cows because they're $2,500 a piece, aren't they? So we haven't quite got that. But I have just about run out of time. We'll bring you up here. We'll start tipping you. And we will, so we'll stop you right there like that. We'll start tipping you. I'm going to run over this way, and I'm going to go in there, and I'm going to go with brown and white. 1, 2, 3, 4, like that. 10,800. Yes, I'm not going to buy another one. I can't afford it anyway. 10,800. We've got 2.5 grand left. That one is tipping out. There's another little load of cattle feed gone into the pen. There we go. Look at it. Tipping away. Fantastic. But I've run out of time, so if you've enjoyed the episode, then please hit down below and give us a like, and if you really enjoyed it, then please tell your friends all about me, get them to come and watch as well. That would be awesome. And until next time, thank you very much for watching. This is Frithgar. Goodbye, and see you later.